CEO and chairman of Toyota, Akio Toyoda, that's Toyota with a D, has just accused electric vehicles of being overhyped. Today we'll dive into this claim and find out why Mr. Toyoda is being cautious about a fully battery electric future. The Wall Street Journal of all places, Toyota's chief says electric vehicles are overhyped. All these quotes transpired during the year-end news conference as he is the chairman of Japan Automotive Manufacturer Association, so the year-end news conference of JAMA, and he has criticized what he has described as excessive overhype of electric vehicles, saying advocates failed to consider the carbon emitted by generating electricity and the cost of an EV transition. Toyota says Japan would run out of electricity in the summer if all cars were running on electric power. The infrastructure needed to support a fleet consisting entirely of EVs would cost Japan somewhere between 14 trillion yen to 37 trillion yen, which is roughly 135 billion to 358 billion US dollars. And I've known this for a while. I've known that Toyota has been so conservative when it comes to transitioning to EVs because the grids around the world just aren't up to snuff. Now, a lot of people on the other side will say, well, it's not everyone's going to be battery electric overnight. So all these places around the world have the ability to upgrade their infrastructure over time, just like how battery electric vehicles will be more plentiful over time. You got to definitely take both into consideration here. He said Japan is too hasty in banning gasoline powered cars. The current business model of the car industry is going to collapse, causing the loss of millions of jobs. Let's just tackle the first part. The current business model of the car industry collapsing. You could definitely look at it in a lot of different ways, but how I see it is that if battery electric cars are too expensive, no one is going to be able to buy them. And they're honestly too expensive at this point in time. And that's a big reason why the uptake isn't as great as a lot of people were wishing or hoping. If you have all these electric vehicles that in theory don't break down, they don't need maintenance, that's also going to crush the automotive industry, that crush the dealership model because they won't be able to sell new cars over time in theory, right? Because if you have a better battery pack 3 years from now that gives you 100 miles more range, that might be a good reason to upgrade. But I'm sure it goes way, way deeper than just those couple things that I mentioned. Now, causing the loss of millions of jobs, well, you could look at it from the dealership perspective. If there's no cars to fix, well, there goes your whole service department. And EVs are supposed to be vastly more simple to create. Robots would essentially replace the entire Japanese workforce. And you could also make the claim if EVs are being built here in America, it would do the same here. Now, this is coming hot off the heels that Japan is likely to ban gasoline-only vehicles by around 2035. Now, that hasn't been official yet, but that's what a lot of people close to or even in Japan are saying that it's going to happen. But it would still allow for hybrids and a fully electric, of course, fuel cell as well. Mr. Toyoda says EVs aren't going to really help the environment because in Japan, at least, most of the electricity comes from natural gas and coal, and that is going to spew a lot of these, bad gases, greenhouse gases into the air, more carbon dioxide essentially because more vehicles are on the grid. He's scared of government regulations that would make cars a flower on a high summit, which is a beautiful thing out of reach for most people. Right before I wrap up covering this Wall Street Journal article, it says they don't sell pure battery EVs. Referring to Toyota, doesn't sell pure battery EVs for the mass market in the US or Japan. For the United States, that's true. For Japan, that's not true because they have the UX300E there. So that's technically a Toyota product. They might have more over there as well. Of course, they have the plug-in hybrids. They said, although it does have a model that runs on hydrogen-powered fuel cell, which we're going to go deep into because we have all the details on the brand new Toyota Mirai. And it's pretty exciting, and it's definitely relevant to what we're talking about today. If Toyota is doubtful on a battery electric future, at least a high adoption rate of a battery electric future in the coming years, where are they going to be playing their cards? Well, we know they want to do plug-in hybrids as well as hybrids, and they've been extraordinarily, actually the most successful company in doing that. And they also want to do fuel cell. Guys, if you made it this far in the video, if you enjoy Japanese auto coverage as well as EVs, and I talk about Koreans as well. Definitely smash the like button. Subscribe if you're not, because we're just getting started and so many great things are coming to the channel, like more car reviews and definitely more article breakdowns like today. All right, let's get on over to Toyota's press room. Toyota introduces a second generation Mirai fuel cell electric vehicle, a design and technology flagship. Well, just that line right there hurts me a little bit. Not because of battery electric vehicles, I'm not sensitive to that. I'm more sensitive to Lexus. And Toyota continues to shower their Toyota lineup with cutting edge technology and powertrains that the Lexus side still feels, we're still probably a year away from seeing anything really exciting in the next generation NX. And then we get this brand new Mirai, which is absolutely stunning. It should be the replacement for the Lexus GS. It's based on the TNGA-L platform. That sounds familiar. Guess what? $100,000 vehicles ride on this platform, such as the LC500 and the LS500. Who would have thought that the next vehicle based off that TNGA-L platform would not be a Lexus, but it would be a fuel cell Toyota? I'm going to try to rein in my frustrations as Lexus continues to get snuffed, because a lot of publications, CNET for example, is saying this is essentially a Lexus through and through. So, all right, let's get into the updated Mirai here. I've covered it a little bit on the channel, but it's officially purchasable now, so all the details are out. We know it's rear-wheel drive. They've increased the powertrain, the power output, and it's not that impressive. It's a 0 to 60 and probably the 9s, okay? So we're talking about Prius acceleration here. However, we're talking a little bit better fuel economy, roughly 70 miles per gallon. Depending on the trim, you can get up to 402 miles on the XLE grade of range, which you want to have the most range possible in this new Mirai, because hydrogen fuel cell stations number in less than 100, actually less than 50 in the United States. As we go down to the bottom here, going back to what kind of drives me crazy, ample domestic fuel supply. Are you kidding me, Toyota? You say there's ample domestic fuel supply in this article, then you go on to say that there's 43 hydrogen fueling stations open in California, plus one in Hawaii. 44. How is that ample domestic fuel supply? I know you're investing millions of dollars into strengthening and growing that fuel supply in California, as my neighbor's Honda Odyssey goes off for the 8th time in 2 days, the alarm. Anyways, back to fuel cell from Toyota. I'm in love with the Mirai. Even though it is unattainable, it is impractical, I'm in love with it. I love braking and cutting edge technology. Is it slow as heck? Yes. Is it gorgeous? Undeniably. It's probably better looking than most Lexuses. And you guys probably would agree with that. The fact that you can have rear sunshades in a limited grade with rear heated outboard seats and a touchpad essentially and buttons in the armrest in the back seat is Lexus LS grade or Lexus GS grade in the ultra luxury. But rest in peace GS, because you don't exist. But they're giving it to a Toyota. This is essentially the GS in Toyota form. But here's the good news. If you do live in California and you're thinking about a Lexus, I'm telling you, this vehicle might just fit your needs. All right, so we know it has good range on the XLE grade. If you go to the limited grade, it's going to be maybe in the upper 300s because it's definitely a larger wheel and tire package. You get $15,000 of fuel included in the Mirai purchase or lease. It's $9,000 less expensive than the frumpy, ugly as heck outgoing model, and it starts under $50K. A Lexus GS, rest in peace. Good luck finding a brand new GS for $50K. Yes, it will perform, at least accelerate a lot faster than this Mirai, but it's not going to be as smooth. And handling, I'm going to say, is actually going to be very similar because of all the low down weight thanks to the heavy hydrogen fuel tanks. There's 3 of them in this vehicle. It has cutting edge safety features. It has Toyota Safety Systems 2.5 Plus, which is the same as Lexus 2.5 Plus or Lexus Safety System Plus. Gosh, it's just a mess. Anyways, it's the same as the IS 2021, the refreshed IS safety systems. You're getting that cutting edge safety system here on the Mirai. And I'm actually in love with this vehicle. Maybe it's the looks, maybe it's the interior, because the interior is definitely Lexus grade. Aside from the seats look a little bit less than super premium as you see in many Lexuses, but I'm sure they're just as comfortable. And yeah, the looks of it, I'm smitten by it. Will I ever get to drive one? Well, I hope so. As the channel grows, I'll be able to branch out a little bit more, give you guys my impressions. I know it's slow, but it's going to have that immediate torque response because of the electric motor in it. The only emissions is water. Pretty crazy to think that your car is making water by combining oxygen and hydrogen together. The big asterisk to this amazing vehicle is infrastructure. As Toyota says, ample infrastructure, maybe in the Los Angeles area. You could call ample, because anywhere else in the United States, there's nothing other than that one in Hawaii. And it's just tough to see that this is the flagship, because this flagship is unattainable to the masses. In my opinion, they should also have a fully battery electric version of the Mirai. The looks are undeniable. It's beautiful, front, back, side to side. It even has a spindle grille on it, in my opinion. It could have been a Lexus. Maybe they make a fully battery electric version of this and give it to the Lexus fleet. I don't know. I'm not very hopeful of that. But guys, before I let you go, even though this car's slow as hell, Modelista, which is a body kit, kind of like an aftermarket accessory brand, has made already kits for the Mirai, which is funny. I mean, the car obviously looks the part. We know it doesn't perform the part in terms of acceleration, but you have an pretty aggressive body kit, which is totally unnecessary for such a slow car. But man, it does look okay. Makes it look a little bit more aggressive. No tailpipes, but you know, they definitely make the rear as aggressive and sporty as you guys can imagine. So that's all I have to say. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of conflicting comments down below. Pro fuel cell, pro battery electric. I think both are the future for mankind for transportation, with battery electric maybe more so in the short term as hydrogen infrastructure will increase over time. But if there's a major battery breakthrough in the next few years, that could definitely slow down the adoption of fuel cells. So we'll see, guys. There's just so much that can happen in the future. But Toyota is definitely playing it safe, investing billions. It's not really, you know, it's safe for them, but they're investing billions in battery electric vehicles, fuel cell electric vehicles, hybrid technology still on the table. And I think what we're going to see in the next 5 to 10 years is Toyota going really, really hard in hybrids, showing the absolute best of the both worlds of electrification and internal combustion. They believe that there's going to be demand for it. Time will tell if there will be. I will see you guys in the comments. If you haven't liked the video, go ahead and do that. That helps me out so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, have a wonderful day and peace out.